What's up with it, man? Well,
You muted, cuz.
I see that. See, I want to bring my dog here and let you guys see how this keeps happening. She's a very clingy little pet, man, and she just keeps walking under here where my mic cord is and touches the cord, and then it just blows me. All right, but
You muted again.
Well,
now there we go. I'll take over while I fix this. Go ahead, cuz.
I would like to welcome everybody to another episode of the For Shits and Giggle podcast. I'm Remy G. We got Ahava Elion and TA also in the building. So I want to start the show off now with a couple quick things before getting started into the show and stuff sports related. Want to give a quick condolences to George Anderson's family, and just George was a really good dude that I've known for a very, very long time. So I just want to give my condolences and respect and love to his family. George passed away last week, and that was a hard thing, I think, for the city, because George was a very well-liked person that a lot of people in this community have very strong and good relationships with. And I also want to give our RIP out to Assata Shakur, the political prisoner that had been on the run from America, living in Cuba since the 1970s. And so just want to give a shout out to her, because she was a very inspirational person. I don't know if you guys have ever read her book, an autobiography, but it's a very powerful and strong book. So RIP to George and Assata Shakur, and just want to give my condolences and love to the people who love him.
What up, though? I'm Ahava Elion, and I wanted to piggyback off of what bruh is saying about George, man. You never really know what somebody is going through, and everything can look all good on the outside, man, but sometimes there's a lot of turmoil that be happening inside. So, man, just as brothers, man, you know what I'm saying? I'd like to just encourage everybody to reach out, because sometimes people may not have the answers to your problems, but you could run across one of your friends that could give you, just a glimmer of hope, a possible solution to whatever it is that you may be going through. And then boom, that spark can hit. Running a business, being independent, being a father, being just the hub of a family can be very, very stressful. It can be stressful, and sometimes you just can't think of how things can get turned around for you one way or another. I don't know if any of us know exactly what George was going through, but it had to be very serious to him, and so if you are going through a serious situation like that, September, by the way, is Suicide Awareness Month, and so it was just unbelievable to a lot of us that it would happen in this month to somebody who seemed so full of life and seemed like they had just the talent to be able to, produce, give jobs, and so on and so forth. So condolences to George, man. You did it big. Definitely a good bro. I think that a lot of people looked up to you, and you inspired a lot of people and gave a lot of people a lot of fuel in order for them to carry out their dreams, such as DeMarco and my boy Jermel Tucker and others that I know that you've been a big part of, you know what I'm saying, they hopes and dreams. So, man, may the Most High bless you and keep you, bro. And you missed from For Shits and Giggles podcast and T-Shirt Kings and so on and so forth.
Couldn't have said it any better. I won't add anything other than condolences to the family and friends. You hate to see anything like this impact not only the family but community. So I would just echo everything that you two just said, and well put. You know what I mean? I think that it is only fitting just to out there that, you know, we have love for those people, and you hate to see incidents like this happen in any way, shape, or form. So just to second everything that you guys said and offer up condolences and heartfelt prayers to the families and all those affected by the unfortunate incident. It's just, you know, bad all the way around when you think about what happened and the loss. You know what I mean? So,
man, bro, if y'all two are ever going through something, man, that seems like crazy, or you feel like you in major trouble, man, you guys call me. You know, we will figure this shit out. We'll figure it out. I mean, immediately, and I'll do the same thing for you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm going through something that's really serious, and I feel like I'm in big trouble or something, man, I will call you guys, man. You know what I'm saying? To get just the right nurturing, the right support, the right love. Could be tough love, could be, you know, compassion, empathy, whatever it may be, man. But I want us to know, man, as brothers, we've been together for so long, bro. You know, y'all can tell me anything. I don't care how embarrassing it might seem, you know, as far as it's a relationship, financial, whatever it might be, bro. I'll tell you right now, I have had trouble in all areas of life to the point where nothing you can tell me would make me feel like you was less than because you're going through this. Because I've been broke, like since I had my store and since everything, like struggling, really struggling, hoping that I can keep it open, or a relationship, you know, like, man, you could be going through it tough in a relationship and you feel like you just don't have the answers, and you don't know if life is good or not. So you may want to end it. Before you make a decision like that, man, call your brothers and just, you know what I'm saying, make sure we support each other. But
ditto on that. And this is the thing that I don't know if y'all remember the song from the Best Man soundtrack with Case, Genuine, and thinking Tyrese was on there. And the line in there says, what can a brother do for me? And it says it can help me be the best man that I can be. So that's what we always gotta remember, man, that you got some brothers there that can always there to help you be the best man that you can be, because times aren't always gonna be good. So when you go through difficult times, you need somebody to help you. You know what I'm saying? We don't always got to figure it out. I mean, we all have been through the ups and downs of life from every aspect. And so,
right,
you know, so that's what I say to y'all, that I'm always here for y'all. So if you ever need me, I'm here to help you be the best man that you can be. So
no doubt. No doubt.
All right, so now moving on forward into the show. So we had some games over the weekend that we had some predictions on. So it's interesting. So I got the winners in front of me. I forgot the breakdown. Let me pull up the list of the games for the week so we can go through exactly who it was. And then we also have that somebody didn't finish.
Why you looking for the list? Let me tell you what went on. Let me tell you what went on. So Thursday, for everybody that's watching, we normally do a show on Thursday where we pick our picks for the weekend. But last weekend I had to get my daughter from Columbus, so we couldn't have our Thursday show. So we all agreed to put our picks inside the group chat. So Bone, first of all, I have a lot of respect for Bone. Okay. And his football analysis.
This is when the spin starts.
No, I'm telling you what happened. This is what happened. So Bone put his players in the group chat, and then so I copied and pasted Bone's list inside the. So I picked all of his teams.
At that point,
I picked all of his teams, but I did that as a joke. But then, like, time started going on, and I couldn't get a chance to get my picks in. So, what I wanted to come to you guys as now, y'all just said we was brothers. So, so now, what I wanted to ask: would it be okay if
it would not?
I'll tell you who I would have picked in these games. I'll tell you who I don't even know who won any of the games. Let me tell you who I would have picked and count it as true. Just believe me. So let's go with the games. I'll tell you who I would have picked. Go ahead.
Hey, since this is for shits and giggles, we'll do that just for now. But I still have the count of what went on with the other.
Do you have your list out right now, bro?
No, I don't have a list. I don't know who won any of the games. I know who won a few of the games. I know who won a few of the games. I know who won a few, but not all of them.
Okay, so let's start with the Seahawks and Cardinals. So for first, what we'll do is just go through. We'll just go through, and we'll roll with the games.
I would have picked the Seahawks because of Ricky White III. We all know that.
You've been picking the Cardinals every week.
I have, but not against Ricky White III. Certain teams, listen, certain teams, okay, if it's a toss-up and I got somebody that I care about on that team, I'm picking them, just like I do for Tay Boogie, Ricky White III. Bone, please. Now, listen, haven't I been consistent with Ricky White III? Be honest.
I will be honest about Ricky White III. You have been consistent with that.
Hold on,
but that's one game. Your consistency.
That's one game. That's one game.
After this.
So let me say this, okay? So the Seahawks and the Steelers played in week 2, was it, when we first started? And you mentioned Ricky White III, which you have done, but you have never actually picked the Seahawks.
Huh? Never? I didn't pick them one time?
No, you have not picked it.
You have not.
But you mentioned Ricky White III every game, because I still have the list of the picks on the previous week.
Who have the Seahawks played? No, wait a minute. Let's see who they played. Who have they played? The Steelers.
I can't remember.
I went with Tay Boogie on that one. And then who else? They played somebody else. That was really good.
They picked the Saints. So both of y'all picked the Saints together when they played against the Saints. So y'all picked the Seahawks against the Saints. So that was always,
and I picked them strictly because of Ricky White III. Honestly,
no,
on this one,
because the Saints suck. The Saints have been very bad, and I'm the only one that has picked the Saints because I was trying to roll with their quarterback.
But I really don't know the Saints record like that for me to honestly. I picked them because of Ricky White III, because that's a pick 'em game for me though. So, and this game too. So, but I don't want to get too far off the track. I'll tell you who I picked. It's up to y'all to believe me or not.
All right. So then the next game.
Nothing that you're about to say. I'm gonna put. I don't
either. So we got the Steelers and the Vikings.
The Steelers, and I'm picking the Steelers.
Okay, so that's what you picked with Bone anyway. So then we have the Commanders and the Falcons.
I would have picked the Commanders.
Okay, that's what you did pick with Bone. And the Falcons won that game.
Nobody knew that Jaden Daniels was not going to play.
Yeah, and when a black quarterback is injured and we don't know about it, it's an automatic Rooney rule. So me and Bone, and this is your rule that you created, Reed. So me and Bone get credit.
I said you got the right to pick, but it was a black quarterback that they was playing against too.
Yeah, but you still picked. You had one too that was black on black crime, and you put it.
I didn't change it though, but
Pat Mahomes. All right, go ahead.
I didn't change that at all. I still stuck with the Ravens. Then we had the Giants and the Chargers.
Everybody had the Chargers, I think.
Yes.
And the Giants won that game.
Yes, they did.
I would have picked the Chargers.
And then we had the Titans and the Texans.
I don't know
had
who
the
won that
Texans.
game. I would have picked the Texans.
Yeah, we all picked the
The
Texans.
Titans
Yeah.
won.
Then we had the Eagles and the Buccaneers.
I would have picked the Eagles.
Okay. Then we had the Panthers and the Patriots.
I had the Panthers.
I would have picked the Panthers. I would have picked the Panthers on this one because how well they did last week, and they got the little bro down there that I want to root for, but I know they lost.
Yes, they did. And then we had the Bills and the Saints. The Bills won that game.
I would have picked the Bills. You know.
Then we have the Lions and the Browns.
The Lions, of course.
Well, you went with Bone on that one, and that was the Browns pick.
I picked the
No,
Browns.
I don't count. That give me my point because I'm not picking it. And I
was just going against the grain for that.
So
because you know good and well I would have picked. Come on, cuz.
So let me finish it, and then I got a question to ask off of this. Okay. Then we have the Jaguars and the 49ers. The Jaguars. Who would you pick?
I would have picked the Jags.
Okay, they won that one. I gave that away too early. We had the Colts and the Rams.
The Colts and the Rams. I would have picked the Colts.
Okay.
Who won?
They lost the Rams. And you gotta pick with Bone when you cheated off of Bones that he picked the Rams. So
take it away from me. Take it away from me. I'm being honest for once in my life.
I am completely shocked with you halfway through this list.
And then the Bears and the Raiders.
The Bears and the Raiders. I would have picked the Bears. I would have picked the Bears.
Okay, well, you went with Bone, and that was the Raiders, and the Bears won. Then we have the Ravens and the Chiefs.
I would have picked the Chiefs.
I know you watched that. You would have picked the Chiefs? Okay, but you picked the Ravens.
Picked the Ravens.
And you picked the Ravens every week this year. Then the Cowboys and the Packers.
No, I did not. Hold on. No, I didn't. I did not pick the Ravens against the Bills the first game of the year. I picked the Bills.
Okay.
And I would not pick the
first game
Ravens
of the year. We didn't have picks. We didn't even record them.
Exactly. We didn't do that to the second week.
Wait a minute.
And they played the first week.
I know that I didn't pick the. Are y'all trying to be honest and say I didn't pick the Bills to beat the Ravens?
No, we're saying that
we didn't do picks that week.
Our records in the first week.
Yeah, we did. We talked about it.
No,
we definitely
didn't.
The first week.
We didn't have track. Remember, that's when we didn't keep track of it.
We didn't keep track of it. We did picks. We just didn't keep track of it. And I picked it. I cannot.
And that's what we said there. We don't know who you picked because we didn't keep track of it. That's
all right. Okay. Now listen, I'm sitting here being honest about me picking teams that have lost this week, and y'all want to make this stuff up to keep me down, bro. Y'all the police.
And so now we got the Packers and the Cowboys. That was it don't matter who you picked, they tied, so that don't even matter. Everybody would have got a tie on.
I would have picked the Packers.
Yeah, it don't matter because they tied.
They're playing good though, bro. Honestly, like
and then hold on, we expected.
Okay,
we got two more. We got the Jets and the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Who you to pick?
Between the Jets and the Dolphins, I would have picked. I would have picked the Dolphins.
Okay. Then the Bengals and the Broncos.
The Broncos. The Bengals quarterback is in. He's dead.
Okay. So now we could go back to old school like when we were at Mr. Randolph class together at Fairview. So
Mr. Randolph.
So now the question goes: so do we give Ahava his grade based off of that he cheated off of Bone, so he gets the same grade that Bone gets, or does he get a 0 for cheating?
Exactly. When I saw it, I was just like, "Are you serious?"
So which way you think this should go? So based off the score of what it was, and we go off of what we actually had in there, there was everybody for the week would have been 7, 8, and 1. All three of us. 7, 8, and 1. Yeah.
I'll take it.
I bet you will.
I would have probably did better than that if I would have.
Now let's
I had to work.
so now that we got the scores out and everything. So now we can go back and kind of recap the games or which games y'all want to talk about, which one stood out, or which I thought was a good game, bad game, or somebody had a great individual performance or something that y'all
Do y'all
talked about
think
a little bit.
Lamar Jackson I mean I think the biggest matchup of the week that had the most at stake was Kansas City versus the Ravens. Both teams started off 1-2. Both of them are expected to make the playoffs, possibly win the Super Bowl, right? And Lamar Jackson, they're saying he's injured, which hamstring injury. Okay.
And it looked like it on the play.
I mean, I just hope they didn't put him on. They didn't send him on the bench, man, and think that the game was over and just get him out of there before he end up really getting hurt. But man, I think that the Kansas City Chiefs, now that they got Worthy back, and before long, Rice will be back, you're gonna see a lot more of an explosive offense. He's got Worthy in there in order to be able to take the top off the defenses, throw the deep balls. Then they already been grooming the kid Thornton to kind of like play Worthy's position, kind of like play Worthy's role. So they got two deep threats now. And then when Rice comes back, I think that we're going to see Kansas City Chief morph into what they can actually be. And it was like Patrick Mahomes got a new toy on Christmas, the way that he was throwing deep balls trying to hit Worthy. So I like the Chiefs. I think that they look good. I think that this kind of gave us a preview of what the Chiefs can actually be. And I'm Chiefs Nation. Yeah, I'm a Chiefs fan.
I think in that game they did show that offensively they sort of regained some of the swag that people thought they would have going into the year. But on the flip side of that, I think that they still have a lot to prove, because thus far the Ravens defenses look subpar every week. They just haven't been the defense that everyone thought they would be going into the season. So I think that on one hand, Kansas City's offense looked great, but Baltimore's defense still hasn't sort of shown up in the way that everybody thought. So I think it's hard to gauge how well Kansas City's offense really is. But I mean, they have proven it time and time again that they are, they can get it done. But I think the Lamar injury is a big thing that you got to think about with the hamstring. If it's going to be something that's going to linger for the rest of the season, with those type of injuries, they typically do. So it puts them in a predicament when you talk about what they can do, because he uses his legs so much. So I think that to your point, it's a huge loss. They're 1-3 now. And they haven't had any division games, so they still got to deal with Cleveland, who has, in my opinion, they probably had the best defense in the division, possibly one of the best in the conference. They real good on defense, and you still got Pittsburgh, who looked a lot better. They made the game closer than what it should be, but I think the conference between those three teams is going to be somewhat up for grabs, especially if you got a injured Lamar Jackson to deal with. So, yeah, I think that was a big, significant injury and a big loss for the Ravens.
So a game that I thought was a very integral game as far as a win was for the Falcons, because I thought it was kind of ironic that when Penix had been struggling, that during that week that they fired the wide receiver coach, as if that was the issue that would fix it. And even though that they won this week, I really don't think was the cure to what was going on there. So I'm interested to see how the Falcons look moving forward. just based off of that, and that was just and very interesting to me to fire a wide receiver coach. I mean, Bone, in your years of playing football, do you think that in the middle of a season firing a position coach makes that big of a difference, especially firing a wide receiver coach?
Not necessarily. I think that if they're making a move like that, well, I take that back. It just depends. I believe if they do make a decision like that, there was something I think what had to have happened was something internal was going on, and they may have, expressed some doubt or frustrations with that position group prior to. Only reason I say that, one of my old teammates, he got the axe. He was like not a position coach, but he was a unit, a special teams coach. Oh, I think it was with the Titans. He was one of my college teammates. But yeah, mid-season, they let him go. And it was one of those things like they had already had a talk with him. But it was like, really, you're gonna let him go in the middle of the season? So I think that, precedent is there, but I don't think that it makes much of a difference like holistically for the team. But I've seen it, but I don't think that it has much of an impact. I think that it's just one of those things where if they have expressed frustrations, meaning the coaching staff or ownership, if they express that, they're not getting it done and they make moves like that, I think just to send a message like, you pretty much they using you as an example and nothing more than that, to say that they gonna make decisions, and if you're not performing, you're not getting your position group or your team together, then they can do stuff like that. But I've seen it. I had to think about it too, but yeah, that's happened before. It's happened multiple times, really. So,
And looking here in the comments, we got an interesting comment because I've picked a lot of times with strong. Well, I'm a strong supporter of the black quarterback, and we'll put in there after 4 weeks the black quarterbacks are 20, 39, and 2. So that's a 33% win rate. But that's
how many of them are young? No, 20, 39, and 2. But you got you
I
can't
mean,
even.
I mean, you got
Russell
some youngsters
Wilson.
in there.
Russell Wilson, he hasn't done well. You got to think about, you got the rookies with
Cam
in Tennessee.
yeah,
Lamar has had very bad start.
Jaden Daniels. Hey, Jaden Daniels, he's Tua.
Jaden Daniels, and he's hurt too. He just hurt his knee and shoulder.
Penix has definitely struggled.
You got Spencer Rattler. He's starting in New Orleans, I think. Spencer Rattler's in New Orleans. Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
But you got to think, on the flip side, Jalen Hurts is undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
And who else is doing somewhat decent? And then you got, Patrick Mahomes just had a bounce back game. But I think it's somewhat random because, easily you can see someone like Pat Mahomes go on a streak, or you can see someone like Jalen Hurts keep winning, or Dak Prescott could easily get his thing going. It's just hard. And like Geno Smith, he was starting and he got a win against Pittsburgh, but then he came back and had a real bad game, I believe. I think he threw like 3 picks or something like that. So it just depends. I think that's random.
First play of the game. Now, they was on Monday Night Football when they threw an interception first play of the game. So then my only question on that is how do we count it when there's black quarterbacks that play against each other? Because that's I mean, it's still kind of for wins and loss, but it's still a different way to look at it. But moving on from that one too, also What y'all think about the youngin with Travis Hunter? He had a couple big catches in the game this week.
I mean, I want Travis Hunter to win the MVP, you know. So anytime Travis Hunter does good, man, he's really a reflection of me, basically. So yeah, I'm a big Travis Hunter fan. I want to see him do it all. Catch a last minute bomb touchdown or interception, pick six in the Super Bowl to win it all. And then him and his wife in the middle of the field get in there and dance and
What?
celebrate. Him and his wife, because they Travis Hunter went through it. He went through it with that this summer, or like like right after the national championship game, or whenever they lost or whatever. It was a
You
big
talking about how people was dogging him about his relationship?
Mm-hmm.
They went. I felt they went at him a little bit way too hard on that, man. That was way, everybody that had their relationships. You're gonna go through ups and downs. I don't think it's for anybody else to really judge that man's relationship because we don't know what's really going on behind closed doors. So that.
Yeah,
I don't think
but
it's. Me personally, I don't think it's for any. Just like you guys said, I don't think it's fair for anyone to judge their relationship. They don't know what's going on. I do think that once again, it somewhat comes with the territory because it's so public, and some of the things I don't even think that they was necessarily judging him. They were just judging the actions of the female that he
right,
was with.
right.
And when you see it, some of the things they look sort of questionable, and I think that people look at it like that because she wasn't a black female with him. I think they say,
She was
she
black.
was dismissive of him at times where it was
She is
it wasn't
black.
a good look. And I to a certain degree I can agree with some of those gripes, but that's true. That's them. He love her. That's cool. That's what he wants. But I think that's more so what it was. It wasn't even more of a judgment of him. It was a judgment of her behavior with him.
Yeah, I can. The thing about it though, you just stating that her not being a black female, that's what was incorrect. That she is black. Have you seen her mother? Her mother the same complexion as you are.
I was under the impression she was Puerto Rican or something, but no, I ain't
Uh,
never seen. I don't know nothing about the girl.
yeah,
Everyone says
her dad is I think of he's definitely a lighter cat. I'm not sure if he's Puerto Rican or what, but he's definitely lighter. But her mother is the same complexion as you are. So she's definitely a black woman. You know what I'm saying? She's definitely a black woman. And that is when people jump to conclusions on stuff sometimes and not understanding. I seen the same thing happen last year with
I mean,
with Bronny when everybody assumed that his girl when they seen him out was like, oh, why they let he ain't got a black girl, this and that, and she's light skinned and her Bronny. There was the same thing that happened with Bronny that people ran to conclusion calling his girl white, and her mother is Sally Richardson, and her father is the other actor. And what is it? Sally Whitfield, and so they both black. You know what I'm saying? So we got to be just because we see somebody's complexion, can't be too quick to start saying that and then accusing them of not dealing with somebody black, and we don't really know who they are and what they are.
I
yeah.
could go with that.
I mean, I don't think it's got too much to do with her race for sure, but she was like, you know what I'm saying, being a Debbie Downer, like when Travis
that's what I was
was
going to
getting
say.
interviewed, old girl was like having an attitude. Then they said he was at another signing, and she was like just being a girl, but being one of these girls that wants to be like she's trying to say like I'm important too, but okay, you might be, bro, but like right now the sports fans are tuned in to see Travis Hunter. This is
Right.
his thing, you know what I'm saying? So any woman can you know what I'm saying, be wrong, just like any man can be wrong. And I think that in her case, she invited a lot of the criticism because of how the cameras caught her acting like she had an attitude, and it kind of like threw Travis Hunter off his game. But not to get involved in a relationship too much. Travis Hunter had a good game. I'm happy about that. I want to see him excel and do good, and keep balling.
Yeah, I thought he, like I said, I seen a couple catches that he made, and he made some very athletic catches and some good plays. So I'm rooting for him. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to even take the time out to even address that we that took place, because I just personally feel that addressing people's relationships is just unnecessary. When he's a football player, let's talk about what he do on the football field and not about who he with. That's his choice, because anybody can sit around and have past judgment or likes or dislikes about anybody in their relationships and stuff. So moving on. So asking this question to y'all fellas about what y'all think we seen. Do you think we seen the last of Russell Wilson as a starting quarterback in the NFL?
Yeah, I think it'll be hard for him to recover from these last few performances. Not only the last few performances, but even dating back to last year with what he did with Pittsburgh. I think he has lost his last 6 games, if my math is right. But even if he hasn't, his performances have been lackluster, and you know, I think he is going to be a victim of the expectations. He has a brand as far as the name Russell Wilson. He's a Super Bowl winning coach, but quarterback, and he's far from that now. I think that he is true. His performance and his productivity lines up with a backup quarterback, and it's unfortunate, but I don't think
Man,
he will be able to, especially given how bad the New York Giants were playing, and then insert Jackson Dart, and they win a game against what a lot of people say is one of the front runners in the AFC West with KFC with Kansas City. But yeah, I think that it's a done deal. It's hard. It'll be very hard for him to get back in a position where he'll be a starter. I think he will be a solid backup, but his days of being regarded as a starter are probably done.
says, hey, man said it's time for him to chill. Chill, go home and chill and raise future son, bro. Like, what are you up to? But I don't know, man. I hate to see that happen to Russell Wilson, because like he was this close from winning that second Super Bowl. And then
He should
since
have
he couldn't
audibled
get
and
it
gave the
done,
ball to beast mode.
right, right, man. And it's just crazy that his career has went the way that it did since that mishap. But I mean, I don't think that there's any reason for me in particular to feel sorry for Russell Wilson, which I'm that type of person to like really have empathy for people that really don't need it. He's had a great career. He's a Super Bowl champion. And shit, he's done enough, hang it up, bro. He had a great college career. He proved himself. He became the starting quarterback as a rookie for the Seattle Seahawks and won a Super Bowl. I think Russell Wilson has had a good career. If he got to be a backup, if he can still make money and enjoy the league, go ahead and do it, bro. You won a Super Bowl. So now everything else is pretty much house money.
Do you
Well,
think someone of his caliber will want to stick around and be a backup, or do he just go ahead and say it's time to go ahead and retire because I've done enough in my career?
I think once you have seen and played it at a level like Russell Wilson has, nothing in you wants to be a backup quarterback. I don't believe. I could be wrong, because to Bruh's point, there's still very, very good money out there to be made while you just chilling and holding a clipboard as a backup. But the ego is powerful, and if he feels like he's not built to sit on the sidelines and do that for 17 weeks, potentially 18 weeks of an NFL season, that can, yeah, I would definitely understand him saying it's a wrap. Because a lot of people aren't built for on the bench.
Everybody that's, because I'm about to let you go, but I did want to talk. Everybody that's in the comment section, please hit the like button for us. Make sure that you like and subscribe. But right now, you guys, please hit the like button so we can open it up and keep the comments coming. Let's see here. To Big Bro Will right here. Bang. Put Jameis in. That's what me and Remy talking about. You feel me? Take Dart out and put Jameis in because he's free. Look at Reem. That's all Reem wants. Look at him. He can't stop smiling.
Bad move.
I'm gonna ask y'all this question: Did y'all watch the Packers and Cowboys game?
Yes, I did.
So, what was y'all take on that game? Did y'all think that it lived up to the hype of Micah Parson coming back to Dallas and also what's your take on games ending in a tie? Should it turn to the point of where the rules are set up that it has to be a winner?
I think traditionally or ideally rather, you would want a game to have a winner or a loser. But I am all for a game ending in a tie as opposed to just dragging on a game going through overtimes. Unless you have some quirky rule change, that's the only thing that I think would be appropriate. Because I think in the NFL, man, if you drag them games on too long, man, the risk of injury is always there, and you just don't want to have someone get hurt playing in a triple overtime or whatever they go to. I would say my fix would be like do something crazy, like see how far you can kick a field goal or something like that. Both of them get a chance.
I thought the same thing, but when I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, penalty kicks almost.
Yeah, something like that. But other than that, I just don't see extending the game any further for someone to win is the right thing to do, because then you're talking about not only the impact on that game. When you extend the game any longer, you're talking about the next week's game being impacted too, especially when you got teams playing on Thursdays now. I'm not a fan of extending the game any further than what it already is. So I'll be cool with the tie.
Yeah.
I just don't want games to go longer.
I think. Go ahead, because you want to ask another question.
You go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish. You answer that.
Well, I was gonna say I think the same thing. You know, if it's a tie, it's a tie. You know, like both teams played good, they gave it all they had, and they ended up even, and that's cool. And of course, it won't end like that in a playoff game or a Super Bowl game or when more is on the line. But for a regular season, I think that it's all right. Both teams, and I think both teams for Dallas, it was more of a moral victory than it was for the Packers. I think Dallas walked out of there feeling like they won. They missing CeeDee Lamb. Micah Parsons went there. Everybody thought that they was going to come in there and whoop on Dallas, you know what I'm saying, with Michael Parsons. And they was up early. But the Cowboys fought back. Man, and Dallas, like I was saying, to me, I thought Dallas wasn't going to be as good as what they are this year, but they look a lot better. They look a lot more present. And Dak Prescott is actually playing good right now. So, man, shout out Dallas for holding it down, man. Even though they lost, I mean, they tied, they still played good, man, you know.
Yeah, I thought it was a definitely a good game. It was good to see that the receiver come in that stepped up for CeeDee Lamb, man. He balled, man. He Pickens, he played a hell of a game, man. And I thought it was a pretty good game. You know, sometimes I get a little bored with some of these football games sometimes, especially when it's not no points or a lot of action and stuff to it, man. So I thought it was a good game, and it was cool to see, and it's just ironic that it ended in a tie with all the emotion from both sides with the return of Micah Parsons. So, but it was definitely a good football game.
I think Micah's impact was underwhelming, though. I will say that he didn't really make big time plays that would make you remember him coming back.
But well, the play in overtime, he made a huge play. The last play that he made where he sacked Dak or like stopped him from scoring in overtime was I thought that was huge. Like it meant a lot. I felt like there was a lot of symbolism in him doing that. So
Yeah, because
yeah,
Dak was on his way scoring. He would have scored
yeah,
on that play, and so that
yeah.
that prevented the game that allowed them to still hold on and the game being a tie. So you can't you can't yeah he was kind of quiet through most of the game, but what they say, big players make big plays in big situations, and he did that.
I did want to talk about one thing about Micah Parsons, though, man. To me, it looks like Micah Parsons is hurt about this Dallas situation. From the reporting that I heard, it was like once he found out that he actually got traded after demanding to be traded, he called to see if there was some type of way that they could work it out. But Jerry Jones was, standing on business and said, nah, it's over with. And so
And
I think
it's always a hurtful thing like that because when you done been with a team and it's not even about the owners and even coaches per se. It's about what you build with your teammates. So being there and them being your brothers and that so now that's even hard to come back and play against. You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing. So the media might hype it up as oh yeah, he coming back this and that, but he ain't bad. He done been in the trenches and battles with these people for all this time, and now in 3 weeks, after I done been in the trenches with them for years, I suppose I'm going at it. That is hard and difficult, and I don't think people give that enough credit to how hard that is to have to perform in that situation. And unless you've been in it, you probably wouldn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? You build a true brotherhood with your teammates and stuff like that. And it's hard to turn around and then go play against these guys that you don't went and not just going to war in the game. It's about what you got to go through every day through the process of getting ready to play in games. So that was a difficult thing, I think, for him. And I thought he handled it well, but not surprised that he didn't have the numbers that he has in other games.
yeah, I think Micah Parsons just was like this is what Chad brings up a good point though. He's saying that Micah Parsons was pressuring Dak a lot though. Like he was in the backfield chasing Dak. So I think Michael Parsons had a high impact. Maybe it might not all show up in like the stats we looking for, but he was in that backfield, like kind of hunting Dak down. So I think Chad brought up a good point. He wasn't quiet. He pressured Dak a lot, and that was a huge game-saving tackle at the end of the game. Boom.
And let me be honest, man, especially like
I disagree. I disagree.
There you go.
The last 3 plays of the game, I definitely seen him get hit. That they definitely didn't. Yeah, I don't know if that was I'm trying to remember. It might have been the end of regulation. It was 3 plays that he got held on. That even the one that where Dak threw that bomb, he definitely got held on that because he was right there getting close to getting that, and he got held on that, and that was a big call that was not called, and it turned into a great play that Dak threw a ball that, and Pickens made a great play on that catch on that ball too.
When you are Micah Parsons, to Chad's point, they don't pay you for pressures. They pay you for sacks. He didn't have a great game. If he played the rest of the season and he played like he played last night, they would say that is a horrible investment. Pressures don't pay. They don't pay the bills. When you Micah Parsons, they want to see him get sacks. And against Dallas's line, they should have been holding him all night. I think Ryan's point was the one he's supposed to dominate in games like that. And going into the game, everybody expected him to dominate them. That's just
well, that goes back to the point.
When you get paid $40 million, they expect you to show up like Myles Garrett and TJ Watt and the premier edge rushers in the league. That's just the expectations have to go.
And that
he may have gotten pressures every play, but if you ain't closing the door and getting the sacks, those are mediocre performances at best.
And that point may be, but it still go back to what I just talked about with the difficulty of the emotions that are coming into a game. So we don't know how Myles Garrett would have performed if he got to turn around and then within 3 weeks play against his old team. You know what I'm saying? That's a difficult situation to be in.
I'm not discounting that at all. I'm just saying what the expectations are. The grading and the standard is always going to be the same, regardless. Your emotions, that can be a lot, but the expectation is that you gonna dominate in those situations. That's all I'm saying. So when you say pressure people, they're not going to say, "Oh, but your emotions were, playing a role in how you played." No, they want to see, hey, produce. That's just how I go. That's just the reality. You got to get it done because that's just the measuring stick. The standard is the standard. They don't change, and that's why they paying what they pay. That's what I'm saying. That's why they paying what they paying. Get your emotions in check and get to the quarterback. They'll probably say you should have more because you practiced against them for the last 4 years. You should really know how to get your game off.
But then they also know you too. So that goes both ways. You know what I'm saying? Because
you better than them, though. None of them get paid top tier money. They don't have no top tier guys blocking you. That's the conversations that'll be had. But it was just one game. He've already made an impact like in the Detroit game. But that's when you get paid like that, they are expecting you to ball out wherever you play. Unless you got somebody getting paid like you getting paid blocking you, then they'll be able to understand it.
He got doubled and tripled a lot that night too, though. I mean, it wasn't like somebody was just like it was somebody sitting there saying the grade out was that this man stopped him one-on-one. That's definitely not what took place. He definitely got doubled and tripled a lot. You know what I'm saying? And so this situation happened. They'll play again this year, so we'll see if it's a difference because it's later on in the season, or they done. That was a one time this year.
They're in the conference together, but they may see each other in the playoffs.
So, and that will make a difference. So then okay, so let's move on to college football. So there were some games this weekend in college football. What games stood out to y'all in the college football realm? It was a couple of high top 10, top 25. Yeah, that was a good game. So is Alabama showing that they're ready to be back in the talk of being a contender, or is it just one game and just happened that they had Georgia's number that night?
It's hard to say, but Bama beating Georgia, and they beat them in Georgia. That was a big game. That was a huge, and Alabama was pretty much in control the whole night. They were physical. They got the job done. I mean, and even with that, I think that one of their premier players, Williams, wide receiver, he didn't have his best game. He had some crucial drops, touchdown. I think he was fortunate that Georgia doubled down and they had one the same way, a wide open touchdown. The guy dropped it. But all in all, I think Alabama was the better team and they came to play. And I think that win sort of bought the head coach some time because people were, after that Florida State debacle, that did not look good. And shoot, they lost to Virginia right after that. It was bad week for the nose, man.
It is one thing that I wanted to say, like, did Georgia, Alabama, that was a good game. I really didn't know who I was rooting for. My son lived down in Birmingham, so I like Alabama for that. But for some reason, you always want to see him get popped. So I didn't know who really to go for in that game. But I thought that it was
Don't you like
good.
UAB?
Huh?
Why don't you like UAB then?
I will like them, but just since Alabama to me is like all one general state, like now, you know what I'm saying? Like my son was in Alabama, I like Alabama. I might like Auburn, I might like any of them. They're all I know is they're in Alabama, basically. But can I ask this though? Did Georgia Tech hasn't Georgia Tech been playing good so far? Did they get popped this week?
I didn't check to see what Georgia Tech did this week.
Georgia Tech,
But
I
other
think
than
they
this
lost
week,
this week, but they had a big win. I think the last week they beat somebody I think they beat somebody ranked. I think
so
they
what?
beat Wake Forest.
All right, and so now I'm saying that to say this: that loss that Colorado, the loss Colorado had to Georgia Tech, shouldn't look as bad, seeing that Georgia Tech is playing well and they're actually good. You know,
Georgia
and
Tech
that was one thought that I had this week. Like dang, you know, we thought that Colorado just lost to a Georgia Tech and they wasn't that good, but they are turning out to be pretty good. Did they win this week, us?
Yeah, they won. They 5-0. They sit on top of the
5-0.
ACC.
Okay. So that was one thing that I had thought about with college basketball, but y'all go back to Georgia and them, but I didn't want to forget that.
Did you
But, do y'all got comments on that? I mean, I didn't want to really change the subject.
Chad got a question on your comment about Alabama. So he said, "Do you like Alabama State and Alabama A&M too?"
Yes, of course.
Since you jumped put the whole state of Alabama there, are you with Alabama State and A&M?
Big bro, listen. This is the real question: is who do I root for when these teams play each other? That's the question, right? So I go with whoever my son say, basically. I'm Ohio State, though, bro. You know what I'm saying? My daughter go to Ohio State, so I'm Ohio State.
Speaking of Ohio State, good transition. What did you think of them in the Washington game?
I think that they turned it on late. Oh man, Ohio State is good, man. They solid. You know, they play well, especially at the end. At first, they was kind of like struggling with Washington some. And I was wondering, like, man, is Washington good or is Ohio State struggling? But then I think that they ended up finding a groove. They figured them out some type of way and was able to ride off on them. Ohio State is sweet. I think Ohio State looks like the best team in the country so far. Y'all think anybody looking better than Ohio State?
I don't know if I would say that. I mean, well, yeah, they've been more consistent than anyone else. I think who else have they played? Washington, Texas.
They beat Texas. They dog walked little Peyton Manning. Walked his dog.
You said they dog walked?
They walked his dog. Yes, Archie Manning walked his dog.
What? Okay, just for purposes of clarity. What do you call dog walking? Like, what is the definition? Because Texas had the
making him look, exposing him, and making him look. First of all, look, I'm for Peyton Manning. I told you, not Shawnee, but Andy Peerless. I'm connected to Peyton Manning. I want to see him win, but the fact is,
no. I'm just trying to ask when I think of somebody getting dog walked, they got blown out. But that what? Despite him playing horrible, they didn't get dog walked.
I think the way they made him look was like it wasn't necessarily a team dog walking. It was more of a expose and saying you're not him. And then like all throughout this whole season, he's never snapped back and proved to us that was just one outlier, one bad game. His throwing mechanics and all type of, like, he wasn't not starting because the Peyton Mannings had a conspiracy to let him play 1 year. He wasn't starting because he wasn't good enough to start. And the kid that he was starting behind went in the 7th round. He's a 7th round type of player. If that, I don't even think he's that. So
who isn't that? Who?
I'm talking about Arch Manning. He's saying Arch Manning.
Are you saying Arch Manning isn't a 7th round pick?
You're right.
He's
Oh.
undrafted. If it wasn't for his name, just same way they say all that shit about Bronny, they should be saying the same thing about Arch Manning as of right now. Now he can turn it around and then change our mind, but right now it seems like
I've heard people say that. They said it. They've said he has been overhyped, and a lot of the press that he's been getting is because of his last name.
I think so, but this is what's missing.
What's missing?
What's missing is the energy towards the story. Like with Bronny, it's a focal point, it's a headline, it's the lead story. When SportsCenter come on, Bronny did terrible. This shit was trash. But with him, like they say it when the subject comes up, but it's not. It's just not lit like Bronny's story is. No matter what, if he played great, it would be fucking promoted to the forever. But since he's playing bad, it doesn't get the exposure, the attention, and the energy, the money, any of that to advertise that story.
I agree. The same energy isn't matched with the energy that went to the hypeness before the season started to what they gave him. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lead in almost every episode of sports show before this coming in. Arch Manning, and it was just super excited about him. Oh, he's a Heisman candidate. He this, he that. And now that he's played his way out of it, it's not that to be talked about. But to Cuz's point, if Bronny had a game, Bronny get in a game and Bronny go 0 for 5 or 1 for 7 in the game, they was leading in with that. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely agree with that it does not get the same matching of energy.
I don't know if I believe that, but I think that both of them is going to get a lot of energy because of who their names are, their last names. Their last names hold weight. I don't think that Bronny gets as much attention as Arch Manning would get, just because Arch Manning is, I don't want to say he's not even close to being as big as Bronny, but I think that being the starter in college football, I think that it's going to get more quote unquote exposure than Bronny does, because there's a lot of time that you don't hear about Bronny because he's not playing. He's like in the D League. He's not playing regularly.
Yeah,
with
they
the
report his D League games like this the damn Super Bowl. And hold on, let me ask you this. At the beginning of the season, you thought Arch Manning was a fucking first round pick.
I thought he was going to be dope. I thought
so
he was going to be dope.
Now do you say he's not as good as you thought he was?
Right now, he don't look even close to what I thought he was. But do you see how I say that?
Yeah.
His play dictates what I'm saying about him.
Right.
And his name still matters. And I think a lot of his hype is because of his name. A lot of what goes on with the hype around him doesn't have anything to do with his quote unquote play. It has to do with his name. Just like I said about Shedeur Sanders. See how consistent that is?
No.
Sometimes it's more about your name than it is about your ability. For him,
who's better? Who's better, Shedeur? Let me ask you, who's better, Shedeur or Arch? Who's better, Shedeur or Arch Manning?
Shedeur,
one-on-one.
His resume is way better than Arch Manning's right now. Arch Manning has started
who's the better player. No resume. I ain't talking about resume. I'm talking about eye test. Who's better?
Shedeur. He's played more. He's accomplished. Shedeur's in the NFL. Shedeur's in the NFL. So Shedeur is better.
We don't have to have those qualifying elements in order to just say Shedeur is better than Arch Manning, not because he's in the NFL, not because he's achieved anything, not because any notoriety that he's got. He's better because he's a better player on the field. He throws the ball better. He runs better. He's more athletic. He got more finesse. He's a player. He's better than him in every
See, that's why I
single
don't
way.
like having an argument, because you're making assumptions on things that you can't
My eye
prove
test.
in no way. Okay, that's your eye test. I
That's
wouldn't
true.
go with that, because I would argue, seeing Arch Manning run, he's faster than Shedeur Sanders. You just said he runs better. I think Arch Manning is, in
But
some ways, a better athlete.
faster don't mean a better runner. It don't mean a more creative runner. It don't mean somebody who
So
got more juice.
So you're saying your eye test tells you that Shedeur is a creative runner?
No,
So
I'm not even getting into that. I don't want to
That's
fall
all
into
I'm not saying.
thing.
I'm not going to.
I'm
not
just
going to
saying
make
better.
that comparison. I'm just saying Shedeur is better.
And
He
when
said
have we
that
seen
today.
Arch Manning run better than Shedeur anyway, though?
I have seen
Hey,
Arch Manning break
let's
out last year
keep this.
and outrun defensive backs. I've never seen
Arch
Shedeur do
Manning?
that.
Let's keep
Yes.
us on. Let's keep us on timetable here, fellas. Let's keep us on timetable. So, with some current events that's going on in college football, a couple of things that have taken place. We saw the firing of Arkansas coach this week, which was another major Power 5, Power 4 conference firing
Look
in
at
the middle of the
Quan.
season.
My
In the
fault.
middle of the season. And what's y'all take on that? Is that starting with, because we never seen this type of trend before with college coaches being fired in the middle of a season like this? What do y'all think that is, and what precedent does that set? And with coaches being fired in the middle of the season, because also let me add in there that the new coach that came in as the which was Petrino, he came in and he also let go during the middle of the season, the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator. And now you have a bunch of players that are talking about entering the portal and stuff like that. So what type of effect do y'all think that has with making those type of moves in the middle of the season?
I think it's a sign of the times, man. When you have the current landscape in college athletics, and you see how they moving pieces around, I just think that it's going to become more and more common. Coaches, players, all of those things. I think it's just more and more. It's just evident. It's going to be more and more common where if something isn't going right internally, they will get rid of you. Whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, it's just the cost of doing business now. I think and I think part of it, not that it's the player's fault. I'm always pro player, but I think when you have players now that have as much leverage and influence as they do, man, it's no problem with getting rid of a coach mid-season, especially if you get on a player's nerves. Not to say that that's what happened at any of these schools, or that I have insights to any of that, but I think that can easily happen now, because players ultimately can get paid as much as a assistant coach or those people that are put on the coaching staff. So I just think that it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be more common. It's going to be how things are done. That's the cost of doing business. And I don't think that it's necessarily, but I don't necessarily think it's wrong either at this point in this stage in the game.
It's a couple comments here that I want to highlight that was said, that I think talking about this, the pressure to win, Terrell Bridges states the pressure to win now is more than ever. And then also Chad said that college sports are not amateur anymore. The need to win is more important than coaching and player stability. And then the biggest impact here is when we're talking about who having power and thinking about power is Will comments. Boosters giving money gives them more input. Fans want results and they are paying for it. So do you see what we're saying with that? So a lot of times when we're thinking, now I'm not sure if the players at the college level have the say so and impact to do that, or more so the boosters are the people who are giving the money. It's more so now than ever that they have the say so. Because when it comes to firing coaches and the payouts, coaches payouts, whether it's 5 million, 10 million, 12, the boosters are the ones who paying those payouts. So this stuff is being run through boosters before having to make those decisions. So what is y'all take on boosters being in charge and running programs?
Somebody's got to run it, so it might as well be the boosters. And then, like, I mean, if the boosters are going to give them money and that's the game that's being played, then everybody needs to just understand that and then move accordingly. So, but I don't understand I don't understand why they're hiding that the boosters are in control. Is it well known? Do they just come right out and say boosters are in control, or is this some type of shadow operation that's happening?
It's a shadow.
That's what I was going to say. I think that the boosters have always been in control. I think the only difference,
yes.
I think the only difference now is that the boosters they're put more out in the forefront because they can actually pay players. But boosters are the ones who pay. I mean, they have a lot of influence, and they were essentially paying coaches back in the day. That's how you are able to. I mean, they are what they are. They're boosters. They're the one who raise money.
So
and
how much power does the coach have compared to what the booster has when it comes to players that they actually recruit and sign? Like, do boosters do they tell the coaches the players that they like? How does it work?
Nah.
I'm not going to say
the boosters don't necessarily go out and find the players. Now, you have some high profile players that everyone knows. Like, say for instance, when LeBron was in high school, if he were going to go to college, boosters would know who he was. But when it comes to filling out a roster in college, boosters don't know who everyone is that's going to be critical to the success of the team. But they're the ones who are going to be cutting a check for them to come.
So I'm trying to figure out how much power the boosters actually have. So, okay. So now they're not forming the, no. Look, they're not forming the team, right? But so the coach is getting the players together. So now that we got this assembly of players, what type of control do the boosters have? Do they say which players they like out of the batch and demand the coach to play that player? I'm trying to figure out, what are the boosters controlling? They're not controlling who plays. They're not controlling who they get. Or are they controlling who plays?
I don't say that they necessarily get into controlling who plays, but when you got the power and the money, you do it. But what they do control is as far as what the movements that happens with coaches. So when you firing this coach in the middle of the season and he got a $10 million buyout, the boosters have had to be talked about before the athletic director makes this move, because the athletic department is now about to cover this $10 million buyout and then pay for the next coach. The boosters are going to do that. So the power of the coaches probably depends on to the extent of which booster is their sponsor. So if you got the biggest booster as your sponsor, then as a coach, you probably have more power than, let's say, another coach. And this is why. So this brings in some things that we're talking about, like with boosters and seeing that and Terrell is absolutely correct. If you go back and you remember the movie Blue Chips that had Shaq and Penny Hardaway in there, that's a true example of how college that wasn't a fiction movie. That was definitely factual of how things that go and how boosters are behind the scenes controlling things and things like that. But from my standpoint on it, so we talk about this stuff, and this is the reality of what goes on, because it goes to Chad's point. Amateur sports are not amateur, and college sports isn't amateur anymore, because it's not thinking about the benefit of the athlete. at all. You know what I'm saying? We're not thinking about what is in the best interest of the athletes. So, and I bring up that point to say that there was an incident last week where Wofford's basketball coach got fired. Did y'all hear about that?
Hey, look at Ryan right here. Booster's calling plays.
So did
They
y'all
got
hear
the
about
booster with the headset on to like hey, run.
did y'all hear about the Wofford basketball coach being fired?
No.
And so what happened? Did you hear about that, Bone?
Mm-hmm.
And so what happened in that situation was they brought in 6 kids through the transfer portal. The kids was promised certain housing. When they got to school, the housing wasn't delivered. So they were supposed to have off-campus housing or be in an upperclassman dorm with different housing. They put them in an underclassman dorm, which everybody knows is going to be freshman dorms and stuff like that. Is totally different than what ended up being with upperclassmen. There's probably more apartment styles and all that type of stuff. So the coaches helped them find off-campus housing or apartments that they then would be given their scholarship money and they had to pay for. But they were still on the meal plan. And each of the kids ranged between $80 to $108 of what they used on a meal plan. And they declared the kids, they suspended the kids and then fired the coaches for saying that they provided an improper benefit to these student athletes. And I'm like, how ridiculous have we gotten where a key necessity to athletes is eating and having food, that coaches are being fired by saying food is an improper benefit, but yet we have all this other stuff going on with all this other money and all this stuff that's passing and being paid and this and that. Like, at what point in time does it get that the NCAA just really getting kind of really ridiculous with some of the rules that they have? And this also costs the coach, the head coach and the top assistant his job. And then Wofford turned around and hired an alumnus, which is probably what they was already wanting to do anyway. And they used this situation as an excuse to do it. So what are
this is a black coach?
Yeah, he actually was a black coach.
Huh? What?
Yeah.
Oh. So, but listen, if we say, oh, see, that's racist, then it's are you reaching? So,
and it was a white coach that they hired in that was an alumnus that they wanted to bring back.
You don't know what to think anymore. You don't know. Is this racism or is it just they wanted to make a coaching change?
And this coach had just taken him.
If they was racist, why would they hire him in the first place?
And he had just taken them to the NCAA tournament 2 years in a row.
And he just had a baby. Like, damn, you got fired. This man just had a new baby.
You need help, man.
I'm just playing.
For giggles. You need help.
For shits and giggles. And he just had a baby and got married. And
but like you said, so that if you call it racism, then it always goes to, okay, blacks are always playing the race card. But truly, what is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, how is that? And why would you fire a coach for making sure that his players eat?
Chad said, yes, it is. Cut to the chase. Cut to the chase.
And Will stated in there that the NCAA denied that there was any violations. But the school fired him saying that he committed an NCAA violation. So it's probably going to end up being some type of lawsuit or something that he will have against the university. But
are the kids allowed to take money directly from a booster to eat? So if the booster came in and said, hey, everybody, man, I know y'all don't have any money. Here's $200. You guys split it up so y'all can eat this week. Is that illegal?
Back in our day, it was. I'm not sure now how that rule go with stuff with boosters, but they have ways.
That's illegal. Why would that be illegal?
Exactly. But they have ways of providing meals and stuff like that for you after the games or something like that they could say that, hey, we provide we took the whole team or something out to eat. So that that can be done. But I'm
Do you
just
think
talking
the
about.
coach knew what he was doing was illegal? The coach that got fired, do you think he knew what he was doing was illegal?
I'm not sure because the NCAA has so many rules and stuff like that I mean, it's kind of hard to know every little rule or something that might be deemed illegal. And I don't know what has changed. Like when we were in school, man,
Bone, do you think it?
you could have hurt your ankle and your coach give you a ride back to the dorm and they called that illegal.
What? Nah, come on. Hold on. Let me hear Bone, please. Did he know that this was illegal? And he did it anyway.
You don't know, but I think most of the stuff as a coach, you would probably have an idea that this potentially could be illegal. I think the problem that comes up is that you don't think that you would get busted or potentially you lose your job for doing it. At the most, I think in this situation, you may think that you may get reprimanded. They may tell you to slap on the wrist or something like that. I don't think that even if he did know, I don't think that he potentially thought that he would have lost his job for committing this level of an offense. I don't think that he would have thought that even if he did think or knew that it was wrong to do. But I think you have an idea. I know
he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing, but he wasn't doing nothing wrong. He was doing something right. He should have did what he did, but he probably knew that he could get fired from it. It's a great sacrifice. They should have some type of oversight committee to stop them from taking people's jobs for things that like have a moral, like what he did is obviously okay. So why would you take his job? You know what I'm saying? I could see if you was intentionally cheating and he did something more sinister. But for them to fire him over, like if it was all he did was gave these kids food, it's
so
terrible. They need to be sued. If all he did was gave them food for this particular situation, in this instance, yes, you can't take this to the extreme to say where does it stop. But in this instance, if he's only food, they need to like be punished for firing the coach and teach them a lesson that you don't move like that. It's not right.
I think that is levels though, because I think at that offense at Wofford, they may be able to go at the coach like that. I think if that happened, Wofford's down in South Carolina or North Carolina. I think if it happened at Clemson, they wouldn't fire no coach for nothing like that. Well, stuff like that probably wouldn't happen at all anyway. And right. I just think the mere fact that he lost his job over something that I think is so trivial at the end of the day.
And the story is like he had to do that to like help out the university for all of their shortcomings, not providing the right housing. It was like one thing after another. And it was like, dang, I got these kids down here, bro. Like, what's going on? Let me make sure they eat,
because it goes into this aspect of it, of when you started to talk about who does the recruitment and stuff like that. This coach is the one who went and sat in the parents' living room and told them, I'm going to take care of your kid. I'm going to make sure that your kid is fine. So then now if I got your kid there and we done messed up housing already to start off, now your kid is not eating. What do I say to this parent?
Right. Because
you have now failed to do exactly what you said you were going to do when this parent entrusted in you as the coach. They didn't talk to the rest of the university. They didn't talk to boosters. They didn't talk to none of that. They talked to this coach to entrust into him to take care of their kid. And this is why a lot of universities have went to, which they used to have problems because they used to always say it was wrong for athletes to be separate from other students. But this is one of the reasons of things like this is why they did that. Why they went to athletes having their own stuff where they had their own food being provided and everything that was different than regular students. And I definitely agree that that is something that more universities should take into consideration and do, because there's a different lifestyle being lived between athletes and regular students.
I agree with that. But once again, my only, I wouldn't even say pushback, because I would agree that a university should, and it would behoove them to have special accommodations for your athletes. It's just that on most campuses, they'll find a way to say well, I won't say most campuses, but where the athletic program isn't valued or they don't do it in a certain light, they'll find a way to say you are a regular student. You just happen to be here to play sports. But I think that, you get on the right campus. I was at a Division II program, and it was clear that our setup was a lot different from everyone else's. So I think that it's going to be university specific, but yeah, I think that you clearly should. And I'm always going to be biased for the athlete, because I think that they do so much more and provide, especially when we played, you add so much value to the university and don't really, especially you don't get compensated for one outside of the scholarship, but you provide a lot of value to those universities. You don't get nothing for it. The least they can do is have those sort of accommodations specifically for you as an athlete. So I will always be on the side of the athlete getting special attention and special accommodations on campus to make life a little bit easier for them.
And I agree with it, but I don't really call it special accommodations, because, like you said, this is something that food is a necessity, and I cannot perform.
Well, I was like your separate living areas and all. Like the food part, you got. I mean, you got to have food.
Yeah. So this is how things come to be about now. So when we were in school and we were playing, there was many times that cafeterias was shut down by the time your practice was over with, and you were trying to figure out how to eat. And like you said, so then the only compensation was that you were on scholarship. So if you couldn't call home to get money or something like that, or go or somebody, a friend, a family, take care of you. Like when I was at Tennessee State, if it wasn't for Ty Lark and Chris Smith, I don't know what I would have done. They took care of me to make sure that I always had food or everything that I needed outside of hours or stuff where the cafeteria and stuff was closed and stuff like that. So I definitely think that it's not that it's a special accommodation, but just definitely what is needed for athletes. And this is why at this time so many athletes have gone to that. You know what I'm saying? Why not athletes, but why so many schools has actually gone to provide, to having separate things from their athletes to their regular students. And this is, and I think it's going to continue in that trend with things like this happening.
Hey man, does anybody know does have some we don't know about this coach? Why is he suggested that he was running up in somebody down there while he was coaching, man? What's up with Chad, man? He need a hug or something, man? Golly.
He did say he was banging somebody's booth. But
then he was slapping more than wrists. Golly. What's going on with this cat, man?
But you know what? How many times in athletics now have we end up hearing about these type of stories that happen at college and professional level, where somebody done got fired and they have some inappropriate relationship within the organization. So I mean,
now if that is true, he clearly knew he was doing something wrong, and then it's a whole different. You knew you was going to get fired when they found out that.
Exactly. So, Terrell, you said, did we get meal money? So this is a funny thing you asked that. So when I was at Western Illinois, we used to get a nice per diem on stuff with meal money. Somehow, when I got to Tennessee State, things was a lot different at this HBCU than it was at at Western. So we didn't receive our road per diem and all that type of stuff. I mean, I remember
You said
being
y'all
at.
did not? Did you say y'all did not?
We did not get per diem.
Yeah.
Not at Tennessee State.
Stop lying.
I'm dead serious. They didn't even know the players when I got there didn't even know what I was talking about. When I was saying we get road per
I
diem.
don't believe that, Ring. Y'all didn't get per diem.
Yeah. No, we did not get our road per diem that we got. You know, I just told you we got it when I was at Western.
Not in no dang on Division I school. Y'all didn't get per diem. That's crazy. We got great money for per diem on the road. That was
So
and I think we got it per day. I think
that's exactly, and that's what we got when I was at Western Illinois. So then when I go to Tennessee State, I'm sitting there asking like, where is the?
How do they give you that money in cash or what?
Yeah, that was in cash back then. Yeah, you got cash back then for your road per diem.
You got on the bus.
So what? When you're walking on the bus, they say, "Here you go, here you go,
yeah,
here you go."
Yeah.
Exactly.
So and then when you're on the road and you get ready to go to get up in the morning to go to this or that, hey, the coaches handed you or whoever they got designated to do it. And we got that when I was at Western Illinois, but we did not get that when I was at Tennessee State. And then when I was at Tennessee State, like I said, our practices went past the time. When I was at Western, the cafeterias was in the dorms. So they were open late night on stuff till like 11 o'clock. So you could always go up there and get food. How much money
do they give you per day to eat?
Well, they still provided our food when I was at Western. We still got food and we got per diem. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Oh, per diem is just spending money to just take care of stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
We got food every day, but you got per diem for whatever you had to do while we were on the road. We got
what? Like what would you have to do?
We really didn't have to do nothing. We was in the hotel most of the time when we got to where we was going.
That's what I'm saying. So they give you, they're paying these kids. They were paying these kids.
We wasn't getting no thousands of dollars, and you wasn't paying us.
Y'all was getting how much? 200 a weekend?
No, I mean it was.
No, we didn't get that much.
$30
75. Yeah, 75 for the weekend.
It was something like maybe I don't even know if it was $50 a day or something like that. Plus they provided you for your food.
You had enough to have money though for us. I think at the most like for and for us, I think it would have been like $40 or $50, something like that. Which in that time that was great money, I think.
Right. I think it might have been. I think they allotted our per diem. They provided us with meals, but if you chose not to go for the meals, I think they gave you like $25 for your meal. So it might have been $75 a day or something like that. It might have been $20, it might have been $60 a day or something like that. You got.
Hey, yeah, that's
exactly. Like I said, when I was at Western, I bought Christmas gifts because when it was trying to come home based off of what we got, because we were still at school during that time period before leading up, and we were getting our per diem every day. I was able to buy Christmas gifts and stuff like that, but we did not see that when I was at Tennessee State. And as you see, Terrell talks about talking with Carl Blanton when he was at Southern, and Terrell being at Duquesne, so he was seeing the other side of it where they're getting a per diem, and we didn't. It didn't go like that at Tennessee State. And like I said, the players that have been at Tennessee State their whole career, they had no clue that was something that was wrong. Like, what you mean? Like, I'm sitting in the coach's office like, where's our per diem at? And
I cannot believe that the more you know, I've never heard of. I just cannot believe that.
Can you go back and sue them?
Man, I wish we could. I wish we could. You know what I'm saying? But then also, okay, so another story I wanted to talk about for shits and giggles.
Trip, baby. You see Terrell getting cheddar
Yeah, like I said,
500.
I can't remember how much we got on when I was at Western, but it was definitely a whole lot more than that zero we got at Tennessee State. I'll tell you that. I know Tennessee State was zero, even to the point that I tell y'all that this happened when I was at Tennessee State. When we was at Western, we
That's
used to have
crazy.
pregame. We used to have pregame meals at real nice restaurants and everything. We were in Green Bay, and if you think I'm online, ask Perry Jeffers. Did our bus not pull up to KFC? That these coaches took us to fucking KFC for a
I
pregame
don't
meal.
believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Next time you see Perry Jeffries, ask Perry about this incident. Did we not pull up the KFC?
Where do y'all normally go for a pregame meal?
We had a
Well,
restaurant in
football is different because you got so many people. We got our meals were catered to whatever hotel we were in, or the hotel made our pregame meals, home and away. That's crazy.
but
KFC, a pregame meal.
And do you eat
pregame
until
meal.
you can't? Do you get full at these pregame meals? Like, how much do you eat before a game?
Well, we could eat. You could pretty much eat what you want, but you ain't trying to get full like that before the game. You just want something to,
And,
give you
and
some
they have
energy
nice.
for the game. We never really ate, or I never really ate a lot. Some people could eat a full meal, but ours was a layout. That's what I'm saying. It was
Like
catered
chicken?
food.
What all y'all have? Like chicken and macaroni and
Not
Uh,
really macaroni.
we,
You know what I'm saying? They
we
trying to
we
keep it healthy food,
you
like
would have
energy,
some
food you
protein.
get
You would
energy.
have chicken. Sometimes they would have pancakes. You would have eggs, especially if it was an early start. If it was later, you would have some sort of vegetable. But it was all good stuff that was going to give you energy. But I used to eat a lot of fruit
yeah,
before games. I never could eat real heavy before games. I eat like some protein, either chicken, some sort of meat,
and some
and
fruit.
light stuff. Yeah, but
And
they
some
had
So
it.
fruit.
You can eat whatever you want. But
Yeah,
yeah, never would we pull up to no dang on KFC ring. That's
so
crazy.
yeah, it was crazy, and the bill that it was because everybody got mad and was like, "Man, did y'all really bring us to KFC?" So cats in there ordering buckets by themselves. So the bill that our coach was like, "Oh yeah, well, I'll never try that one again because of what it ended up being." So like Terrell said, when I was at Western, you would have steak, salads, vegetables, stuff like that, chicken, whatever. A mix of proteins that you could choose from, and then healthy foods. When I went to Tennessee State, it's a restaurant in Nashville that's a soul food restaurant called Sweats, which is a world renowned soul
I've
food
been there.
restaurant.
I've been
You
there.
know,
Pretty
and so
good.
I used to, me and the owner of Sweats was cool. He used to let me eat there free all the time, right? But we used to actually end up getting pregame meals and stuff that our coaches would go get them from Sweats, or we go to Sweats, and I'm like, this is not
That ain't
pregame
no
meal. So,
pregame meal,
right,
man.
why are we eating macaroni and cheese and yams? And that's not what you eat pregame. Like the things that went on at Tennessee State was so different, and it's not something saying it was because it's a HBCU, because my head coach came, he was an assistant coach at Virginia Tech. So he done seen the other side of it before he came. So he actually coached pros when he was at Virginia Tech. Steph Curry's daddy, Dale Curry, Bimbo Coles, they were his players. They used to come to Nashville in the summer and stuff with us and play with us and that type of stuff. So you've seen better. It's just for some reason, these HBCUs, there's a lot of decisions that get made that aren't the smartest of decisions. You know what I'm saying? And it's things that get delved out, and it's really ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? It's really ridiculous. So it ends up being a difference from that standpoint from a PWI to a HBCU, regardless of the level of what it is.
Hearing that, I am low key happy I went to a PWI, man. We got kind of spoiled to be a D2 program. They took great care of us, and Yeah, travel was cool. Only thing I didn't like though is we didn't fly all the time at a D2 with a football team. We would like sometimes we'd make a 5-hour trip. That was crazy. On a bus, that was no fun. But other than that, we did get spoiled. I will say that.
I would say this, like at Western, we had
I didn't get to see what
things,
Chad said. What did he say?
um, that, so
There you go,
for
bro.
shits and giggles. So when I was at Western, the whole level of stuff was completely different. You know what I'm saying? Even the type of buses that we rode and everything. And so even like now, I'm gonna start off the not that we at that part yet, but I'm gonna start off the for shits and giggles now of what my for shits and giggles was. I remember us traveling at Tennessee State, and we might have rode a couple buses to go to some games that was probably the equivalent of soul plane buses. Like it was somebody's mans and them who just bought a bus and got a CDL, and they like, hey man, go I need you to come take the team down to Austin Peay. You know what I'm saying? And like, man, are we gonna make it in this? Like, what
They
we
did
eat? Huh? Man, what? It's a bus of like,
Man,
remember the movie Ride? You know what I'm saying? And I ain't saying it happened every game. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying
but
that happened every game.
it happened
But
before. It happened before.
it happened multiple times, and it was a complete difference from what type of buses we rode when we went to a game when I was at Western. You're like, oh, this is nice. You know what I'm saying? Nice charter bus, this and that. You pulled up a couple buses, and like I said, it didn't happen all the time. But there's some times the buses pulled up at TSU, and it was like, hey man, why all that smoke coming up out of there? Like, this what we riding to? And it wasn't games that we went real far away with. It might have been an Austin Peay game or Middle Tennessee game or this and that. But the point of the matter is they gonna cut some costs wherever they can on something. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff that I didn't experience when I was at Western. And it was like, man, how is this taking place? But it does. Best believe it does. Yeah. So yeah, that's my for shits and giggles for the day is now that I can tell you that it was definitely for the shits then riding on them bus. But now I can look back at them situations and giggle about it like, man, damn, we really did that. This man really took us to KFC, which was an assistant coach who did it, a white assistant coach. Let me add that too. That pulled up and took and went to KFC for a pregame meal.
never.
I got it for shits and giggles. I got it for shits and giggles for us, but it's not all the way clear yet. It's not. I guess I can just talk about it and see some humor in it. But today, when we got off work, my daughter was driving, boom, in her car, and I was following her behind her. Okay. And we're coming up this kind of like narrow type of street where two cars can fit, like going the same way, but so it's so we're coming up, and all of a sudden a mail truck pulls up and boom hits my daughter's car. Like the mail truck is delivering mail, and they was parked right, but then they was done delivering the mail. So while she was coming, they didn't look, and they just boom hit her car. So we parked. When we get there, like she parked, I pulled up behind her, I said, did she hit your car? She said, yeah, she hit me. So we walked back to the mail truck. It's a young sister in there. So I'm like, dang, I don't want to get this girl in trouble. So I asked her, I say, hey, look, if you can pay for the damage on the car, then if you think you'll get in trouble or whatever, shit, I don't care. Don't call it in. Do whatever, you know. But we just want to make sure that the car is paid for. So she was considering whether she would do it or not. You know, she was thinking about calling the police so we could get it fixed. Or if she could just fix it and pay for it, then that's cool too. Whichever way we get it fixed, it don't matter. So she was thinking about it like, okay, let me think for a minute. Let me think for a minute. I'm like, okay, cool. So we let her think for a minute. We ask her again, what's up? You know, we can't sit here all day. I don't know. Let me think for a minute because it could cost more money than what I got. And then I don't want to agree to it, which is reasonable. She was saying a reasonable thing. She don't know if she got the money to pay for it or not. So she's weighing the options. And I'm saying, do you think they'll fire you for this? And she said, I don't know. I never got in a situation like this before. I said, okay, you know. And she was acting worried. She wasn't calling it in immediately. So
Right.
we just got to the point where it was taking too long. My daughter was like, look, I got to call the police because this is a federal thing. I don't want to get in trouble for getting into a car wreck with a federal vehicle, and then like I didn't report it. So my daughter called the police to tell them what happened. Man, she called her supervisor and told her supervisor that we hit her. It was so unbelievable. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she was just, I didn't never say, just being unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. And so so now we had to literally file a police report. She might have to go to court and try to prove this thing. It's just so ridiculous, man, that the world and pressures that we living in, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I didn't want the young girl to lose her job, but then she just
She probably will now.
Well, now she will. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if she will or won't. I mean, it depends on if they are willing to accept fault, because it's basically the driver's word against us. Except the only thing that gives us a little more leverage is that it was two of us. You know, I was following behind. And then me and Taylor gonna tell the same exact story because it's the truth about all the conversation that we had with this girl about her admitting that she did it. I don't know, but
I'm gonna tell you a thing to help you out, because when it goes through the insurance,
yeah.
they have when the stuff hits the insurance, when you have these type of situations, they have reenactments and everything that they take it through, where they have some type of simulation and they can tell based off of dents and stuff on the cars how the stuff was, and be able to prove who fault it was.
Oh, perfect.
So once the insurance get involved, it'll turn into a complete different thing. So you might be good.
You know, and I'll be honest. I mean, I've seemed like I've been talking about suing a lot, but for them to lie, if they do lie and go through with it, like, and we actually have to prove that we're telling the truth, to me, now we're talking about punitive. You know, we need to get to the punitive part of it, because don't lie, bro. And the employee can lie, but if the business stands behind that lie, now it's a problem. Now it's a problem. But we'll see how it all works out.
How badly was the car damaged again?
It's not damaged at all, really. It's got like a few scrapes on it. The paint is and the mirror is broken off. But it's not so bad that she can't drive it, but she don't want to hear that. She, like, I'm talking from a transportational standpoint, but the way that it looks, she don't want no scratches or nothing on the car, as we all don't,
Right.
Is it so? The girl could have made it a very simple thing. You could have found somewhere, and scratches might have been able to been easily buffed out or something like that, and then you fix the mirror. You know what I'm saying? You could have found mechanics that'll fix your mirror for not extreme cost. So right. So she really made it, because I got a mechanic. I definitely could give you that man does the best work and does not charge up at all. So that his name AJ Reese. You know what I'm saying? So he's one of the coldest mechanics you can find. So the girl might have made the situation on herself harder. That might have cost her job by doing that. Because I got to be honest with it.
Well, I don't know, but after she did told that lie, I turned into a snitch. I told the police everything she did. I said, man, let me tell you. I said, come on, man, let's go get the Ring doorbell footage. I'm providing evidence. I'm doing everything. Now they've turned me into a detective. But yeah, it was wild though. It was definitely a wild thing, you know. I'm like, geez.
So when you're giving up the goods, how do you feel? Or you feel like, yeah, this is definitely where I should be. I should be snitching like crazy, getting it all up, letting it be
felt
known.
normal. It felt normal as apple pie.
There you have it. There you have it.
It was like a release, a big, hey, bro. It was like the greatest weight got lifted off of my shoulders when I said it was her. All right.
Mitch.
I know I'm blowing it, man. I was funny at first, but then kept talking and blew it. So
you all good. Let's see.
You gonna piggyback off his story? You have an accident today?
I don't have accidents. You know what? Listen, let me tell you something. I never, well, knock on wood, I don't get into accidents, man. I have to have a pristine driving record, so I can't get in trouble with my job. So no, I don't. Mine's, I will have to say, just a real situation when life, for me currently, you can be going through ups and downs. Sort of go back like bro was saying earlier, when you go through something, say something. What is so dope about the way my life is set up right now is I was going through just crazy turmoil, like job, work, stress, and that sort of thing. And the beauty of what's going on with me now is I didn't really have to say much. And my dog, Miss Tamika Alster, she just held me down in a way that, I didn't have to say much, but she was just there to, lift me up in a time where I felt like life was just coming in and sort of, just pressuring you, I mean, we all have stressors and that sort of thing, but it's cool to have someone right there with you that can notice you going through it, even though you're not saying nothing, and just be there to pick you up. So for me, that is super dope, and I appreciate her for it, even though I ain't tell her that. And I don't know if she's watching tonight, but yeah, she came through in a way that, made she fixes problems that she doesn't know exist. So it's cool to have somebody on your side like that. So that is, for me, super duper big and super duper appreciated. So yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Hey, it's one last thing I wanted to touch on before we get out of here. I forgot to mention this earlier, and I know we all grew up, being basketball fans and certain things. But everybody here a fan of Syracuse back in the day?
A fan of Syracuse? Wait, Jim Boeheim?
Yeah, Jim back in
Syracuse basketball.
Yeah, Syracuse basketball in the 80s and 90s. So
that's right. Hey, Ryan Alexander, though. He
I respect him. I'll say this because I respect him. We respect him. Yeah.
So do y'all remember Lawrence Moulton?
Yeah, long white
Poetry
socks.
Emotion.
What you talking about? He was a dog.
He passed away today, man. I got the
Real?
breaking news. Yeah, right before we got on air. Chad had told me that, and I forgot to mention that earlier because that's very big in the sports world, man. That with Lawrence Moulton. So he's definitely somebody I want to give a RIP to because, hey man, I love watching his game, man. He was a dog, man, and I hate to hear he was 53 years old. They haven't released no cause of death or anything yet, but man, that's big in the sports world, man. Hearing about Lawrence Moulton passing away.
Man, for real. Yeah, Lawrence Moulton was nice. Not super nice.
Yeah, yeah. He was living in I think DC. He was a school counselor and stuff now at this stage
How
and
did he
stuff.
pass
So
away?
they haven't released cause of death yet, but he was found in his home. Dead, but they said they don't think it was any foul play or anything. So, I guess that's something we'll have to be waiting to hear the news on that. But yeah, just wanted to acknowledge that because that was some news that was broken to me, and it was kind of, you know what I'm saying, I never met dude or nothing, but I always watching him from afar. He was when say a little older than us, but he was somebody who I definitely like to watch and take notes of, man. He was a dog. Like I said, his nickname was Poetry in Motion.
What type of player is he, cuz?
He was a wing.
Lawrence Moulton was a bucket.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
how tall is he? How tall is he?
maybe 6'3", 6'4", or maybe a
6'3".
little taller. It was
Okay.
hard to tell with them long socks on. You don't know, but I would probably say he was like 6'4", but he was a wing that got to it, man, and got buckets.
Yeah.
And,
You
and
know
his
they say that
and
is
his
like
game was pretty. That's why they called him Poetry in Motion. It was just smooth and nice, pretty game, man.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like he's an all-time leading scorer in Syracuse history. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, long before it was
That's
Carmelo
saying a
Anthony.
lot. That's saying a lot.
Right.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah. And especially in that time, because you got to remember, Syracuse was real dope for a while. Then when DC left, Syracuse was kind of struggling, but Lawrence Moulton was the one that kind of held Syracuse to still being a name that you talked about through a time period. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was Lawrence Moulton, you know, and man, that dude was definitely a bucket getter.
Man, glory be to the Most High, man. Praise the Most High. He in a better place, you know. And man, his family, man, you know, just want to pray for their whole vibe, because man, big time players like that, man, they have like a huge place in the family as a role, man, a role player, motivation. Everybody's always proud of that person because they did it for the fam, you know, a real big dog. So man, for his family, you know, pretty much just pray for their peace. Yeah, man, Lawrence Moulton, man, rest in peace, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Rest in peace.
I want to thank everybody out there that tuned in with us today. I mean, getting a lot of feedback. So a lot of times we got a lot of people that's been watching or going back and watching our episodes, but don't necessarily comment in the section and comment. So I want to thank Chad, Terrell, Man, Will, nephew Justin, and JR, Pops, all for commenting today. So thank you everybody supporting for Shits and Giggles podcast, and we look forward to seeing you again on Thursday.
Yes, sir. Hey, I seen Chill B and Kwame in here too.
What's up, Chill Billions and Kwame?
And Quam said Arch is better.
Yeah, Kwame, I didn't get a chance to even build on that. Kwame said Arch was better. Kwame is so funny, bro. He is the funniest dude, bro. That's my brother. All right, y'all, man. Love everybody. We'll see you all Thursday, and then we will pick this week.
Are we having legitimate picks this week?
Yes, legitimate picks. I'm tired of getting robbed, man. You know, so
how are you getting?
Robbed and you copied and pasted my picks?
because I picked tonight right with y'all, and y'all didn't. Tonight I think I went 10-6.
Man, how do you pick when the
uh,
games are over with?
with
How do you pick games that are already done?
Do better, man. Just do better.
And it ain't like Bo, it ain't like he tried to come with, hey, I ain't see the games that it's 3:00. 4:00 and the game just went off. He came with picks 3 days later.
no, because I thought about it. I knew
What
that
are the
it would
odds
be
that you
cool for us
haven't
to do
seen
that.
ESPN once since in the time since the games have been played?
Hey, but because he said he didn't know who won or lost none of the games, right? But he had a whole lot to say about how games who was playing well.
I didn't even want to say nothing about it. Like, man, just let bro cook.
Hell no, wait a minute. You are kind of right, but no, I told y'all that I told you guys that I've seen some of the games. I did. We'll rewind, bro. I said I've seen some of them, but not a lot. And I did. I watched the big games, I ain't watched none of them other little games.
Only on for
you
shits
said
and
you
giggles.
hadn't seen any of them, and you're going to be honest. That's exactly what you said.
I might have said that at first, then I went back and clarified that I did see some of them.
So we was just letting it go because I'm like, I really like how he didn't see these games, but he telling us who played well and what happened in the game. Like, he's a genius.
Ridiculous, man. It truly is, man. That's why I didn't say nothing about it, man. I'm like, hey, bro, he really tried. He tried to put it together, man.
Hey, so quickly, the update of the score, because I have you 27, 20-1, Bone 29, 18-1, 20 28 and 1.
All right. How many games are we ahead? You're what? What am I and what are you?
You 27.
I'm ahead of you.
No, Bone is ahead of us. I want to hear Remy score because he's far back, right? He's far back.
Yeah, I'm 20, 28 and 1.
He's 28. And how many wins do I got, cuz?
27.
20. Oh man. I'm rooting for you now, cuz I want you to catch up, bro. I don't like saying no. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. I got one thing before we get out of here. Wait now. This is something that we all are going to love so much. The NBA preseason starts Thursday.
Yes.
The NBA, hold on, look, y'all. The 76ers and the Knicks play on Thursday, and then the Lakers play Friday night.
Yes. So hey, that's a good thing that we can get to start to putting some basketball in and everything too, man. So we got another sport coming because that's going to be some interesting topics. And I hate that I wanted to get to, but hey, we can get to talking about it on the next episode. We talk about gambling and sports and this and that, and because I wanted to talk about that ridiculous play where dude sprinted 40 yards with 3 seconds on the court on the clock. And did y'all see the Indiana-Iowa game, football game?
No.
Please make sure y'all look that. Make sure y'all look up the video. So Iowa had the spread on the game was 5.5. Indiana beating Iowa. It was 3 seconds left on the clock. Indiana had the ball at their own 40. The quarterback took the snap, sprinted 40 yards back, got a safety. They were up 7, and then they ended up being only up 5, and the people was going off because of the gamblers. They lost their spread because it was a 5.5, and then they ended up winning the game by 5. So just something for y'all to research, so so we could speak on.
Did he run? He ran the clock out though, right? He did that. He sprinted back to run the clock out in the game.
Yeah. So he say, but 40 yards, he couldn't have made it more obvious. You and get a safety, you could have just ran to the side, and even if you was on the 1 yard line, you at least try to get to the side or something like that, and run the clock out. This cat turned around and ran a 40.
I got to check
Man,
that out. I haven't.
oh
seen it.
man, I just
check that
thought of
out. So
something, man.
that's something we definitely got to talk about on Thursday.
If you got a lot of money, if you got a lot of money and you can get to one of these kids and have them throw a game or do something like that for just 2 points or something like that, it could be more money than that kid ever makes in their life. If you could have a payoff like that and bet enough. So they're going to investigate that, man. If that kid in any way made money from a bet in that,
that's why
lose his career. Hopefully he gets enough money.
That's why I said I want y'all to look that up. Make sure y'all watch that, so we could definitely talk about that on Thursday, because this is definitely something, a play that you'll be like, this is for shits and giggles.
All right, everybody. We love you forever. We'll see y'all Thursday.
All right. Peace.
Peace.